She's still laughing.
That's so funny. Welcome to 5 Lemons Left. We're the real stuff, the lemons making lemonade. So pucker up, because we're going to be discussing our life's lessons and the nitty-gritty details of our spiritual journeys.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Drusilla.
I'm Melissa.
Hello, this is Morgan.
And I'm Penny. Welcome to our podcast today.
Welcome everybody. It's so good to be with you powerful, beautiful women. Today we are talking about, can people really change? Is it possible? Have we seen it in our lives? Have we seen it in other people's lives? Yeah, for me, this one is elusive because like on a daily basis, like I think I'll never change. Like I'm always going to crave sugar. I'm always going to do, like I use those words about my personal stuff. So there is a feeling of like when I'm in it, when I'm in the minutia of everyday life, that change is not possible. And at the same time, I can look back for 3 years ago and go, holy cow, like my outlook on life has really changed. So there's a duality. There's a duality that happens in this. Can people really change? Yeah.
Well, we could wrap up this episode because I have known Penny and Morgan longer than Amanda, but I can attest to the fact that we've all changed, even just this year, the last few years. It happens. I think, like you just said, Amanda, it's hard to, like when you're in something, it's hard to see it. But when you look back, or you even look now, but have some perspective on it, yeah. I mean, no one can tell me that it doesn't happen, because it happens. I see it every day in my family, in my life, in your lives, in your stories. Okay, we'll see you guys later.
Okay,
we're wrapping this one up.
We're done here.
Mic drop.
Yeah,
That's so funny. That's so funny.
that is funny.
Yeah.
So, like, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in your life? I'll open it up to anybody.
Well, maybe I'll just share that we came up with this topic, or this topic came to us because it is the start of the year and so many people are still doing New Year's resolutions, or like hitting the gym really hard, or making dietary changes, or whatever changes. And I feel like and a lot of people are learning to let that practice go because it feels a bit restrictive, or like setting yourself up for failure. So maybe someone can share about how the changes are occurring for them, or what seems to be the catalyst for the change. We're not as much focused on changing behaviors, but they are changing. So maybe somebody can speak to that.
What is that saying, when you change your mind about the world changes?
When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
It's one of my very favorite quotes.
I know.
Who's that from? Where did
I'm
that
not sure. Is that Wayne Dyer?
I think it is.
Yeah, I believe it is too.
I believe it too.
Yeah.
Isn't that, I think that's the basis of at least what we've been doing in Masterful Living with Jennifer Hadley's ministry, just really learning to change our minds. And I do a lot of Byron Katie's work, and that is changing your beliefs, turning your beliefs around. And her work has really helped me and has really helped me change. And change the way I look at people. I personally in my life have had a lot of changes with my children. And really, like, if I just watch my children and see how much they change right in front of me over the years, of course change is possible. It happens. I see it every day in my kids. And like on a kind of a more spiritual level, I have run into situations where I have had to change my mind about my children, change my judgments so that I do see them as they are perfect and complete. And it has changed our family situation and has improved what has happened in our home. It's just brought more love into it. And then my children feel like they can be who they are. So that's been really helpful. And they have literally changed in front of my eyes.
So Melissa, what do you think that shifted in you to be able to see your family differently?
I do think it's the changing what I see, and and those things changed.
Give me an example,
okay,
right?
I've lived for so many years worrying and in fear. And if I work with my own fear, then I'm not laying that on them. And they kind of have more freedom to be who they are. It's not really said words. It's just more like a feeling. I think they feel, oh, my mom really believes in me, and my family believes in me, and I'm perfect how I am, and I don't have to do X, Y, and Z to please them. It's shifted our energy in our home, for sure, especially with my older son, who is doing a lot of drugs in high school and that kind of thing. And I had to see him as, even though he's doing his journey, just perfect. He's just is a good, really, really good, amazing person. And so instead of coming at him all the time, like, what's going on? What's your problem? Where are you? I switched. I was worried about him, or concerned, but I came from a different angle, and he felt that. And he felt more okay with himself. I hope that makes sense. It's just really hard to put into words.
Yeah. So then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I heard you say that, and you shifted how you saw your son. You shifted into more of coming from a loving space, and that allowed him to love himself more and shift his own behaviors. Is that what I was the
Completely.
undercurrent? Yeah.
Completely.
Well, because Melissa changed her vibration about him, that lifted his vibration as well, because all boats rise.
Yeah.
Together.
And I stopped seeing him as a problem or having a problem. And then his problem disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like people, I think it's an Anais Nin quote, and I'm not going to quote it exactly, but it's, people don't need to be saved. They just need to be loved. And so it was like letting go of that energetic of.
Right.
It makes me think of Jennifer Hadley's story about when her mom was sick with cancer, and she had the urge to want to offer all these holistic treatment options and swat the sugar out of her hand when she was going for a candy bar. But she ultimately realized that the best thing she could do to support her mother was to simply love her in that moment without any of that stuff. And it sounds very similar to your journey with your son.
that does tweak change a lot, doesn't it? The whole concept of change. Yeah.
Well, and you know, we're energetic beings, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
where our energy level is what others are going to pick up on too. And so working on our energy and what we bring, our attitude we bring to everything. Yeah, just our energy. Really, it's our energy. Yeah. So at our company, I didn't do it, but I was going to do it. And at every entrance where employees would come from into the company. So an entrance to our company. Sorry. Sometimes. Yeah, laugh. I was going to put on the door as they were reaching for the handle. Be aware of the energy you're bringing to this company right now, or be aware of the energy you're bringing into this space, because it matters. It really matters. I don't know about you, but when somebody's energy is not in the higher vibrational levels, it's really to loop this back to change. So I am all for change. I've been working all my life. I'm a seeker. I want to change and be the most loving and kind, compassionate person I can possibly be. And I'm pretty good at it most of the time, but I do get triggered back to my old childhood wounds, my old patterns. And so the energy that I bring to situations is so important, and to remember it. Sometimes I forget, sometimes I go back. And so I don't want to beat myself up when I make a slip, when I have a slip. And that's what I'm working with actually today. Is I had a kind of an emotional slip, or I don't know what you would call it, with my family, my bio family. And I really want to make amends and clean it up. And I really do love and appreciate everything about them. It's just that sometimes I get triggered by behaviors. And so I want to change that. That's what I want to work on changing, is not to be unbotherable, you know? Yeah. So that no matter what anybody's doing, I'm not bothered by it. I'm not sure if I'm quite making sense today either. So if I'm not,
you are. I get it.
Yeah. Yes.
To be unbotherable. Like, how do you develop that skill?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You'll get there.
yeah. Change the way you look at things.
Yeah.
That's the how, right?
Yeah.
And Penny, if you had family problems, like the same thing that happened today, 25 years ago, when your kids were little, would you be even talking about your amends and cleaning up your side of the street? No, right? Okay, so that's huge change.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
When I'm seeing it much quicker now. I
Yeah.
get it much quicker. I even get it sometimes right as I'm doing it, and I'm going, oh, Penny, stop. But sometimes I just can't quite stop myself, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta laugh. But I wish everybody could laugh with me when we, sometimes
I'll laugh with you.
yeah, I know. Well, when we catch ourselves and we say, oh my God, there I go again. I'm acting like a shithead. I'm acting from my old patterns when I was growing up. And then everybody could just say, wow, Penny, that's really smart that you can say that. Wow, way to catch yourself, But that's not been my experience always. Maybe with you guys, it would be my experience where you go, wow, good job, Penny. But yeah, my family's not quite there.
Hey,
Guess
Penny.
we're all defending still.
Hey, Penny.
Hey, what, Amanda?
Wow, you're doing a job.
You are doing a great job.
You're doing a great job, Penny.
Oh, thank you guys, ladies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think that's what I love about being together with you in collaboration to do this, is that we're so freaking supportive of each other, and nobody's trying to get ahead of anybody. And We
Mhm.
just all want everybody to live happy, joyous, and free.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's just
Beautiful.
sink in that for a moment,
Yes.
right? Mm.
Yeah. And anyone listening to this that has just had a fight or something or is triggered by someone, just know that we are sending you this love as well right now.
Yeah, we're beaming it right out of our heart to yours.
I'm so sorry, I got the giggles. I don't know what it is.
Well, you know,
Well,
laughter is the best medicine,
Yeah.
Amanda.
mhm, absolutely.
What are you giggling about though? What's
I
making
don't
you laugh?
know. Like when my stilled my mind, I started giggling. So I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but yeah.
That's
Someone,
awesome. That's a
whoever's
great
listening, I
default.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Whoever's listening needed some giggle time in their lives.
Mhm.
Well, I love what Penny was saying about everything is energy, because I think that goes straight to the heart of can we really change? And like Amanda, your original question of what have been some of the biggest changes in my life. And I think about, we talk a lot about the vibration of words and stepping away from the I need to language. I really need to lose 20 pounds, or I really need to quit drinking, stepping away from that language. And for me, what has been the most powerful tool is a combination of things I've learned from Jennifer Hadley, from Abraham Hicks, and all, the other stuff that I've studied over the years. But it's been about energizing delicately, lightly what I'd like. We do a lot of the I'd like statements in Jennifer Hadley's community. So for me, like one of the biggest changes I can point to in recent years has been giving up alcohol. And it started as an idea, a couple of years before I actually made that change. And I just held it lightly. Like, I'd like to quit drinking one day. I don't really see a way for that to make sense in my life currently, but it's something that I aspire to. And then I let that shit go. I didn't try to figure out how I was going to get to that point, how to make it happen. And then lo and behold, a couple of years later, Spirit delivered the perfect set of circumstances that facilitated an easy shift into an alcohol-free life. I had like 3 different friends who were giving up alcohol at the same time, who were like my close circle of friends at that time. And it's like all of a sudden I had a built-in support group. And 2 of my girlfriends and I read Holly Whitaker's Quit Like a Woman book together. And it just became like an easy, fun thing to do. And it was right before the new year and sober January that so many people embark on. And, it was, so anyway, I couldn't have orchestrated that, but Spirit can, God can, the universe can orchestrate that kind of stuff for us. All we have to have is that willingness or that intention and let go of the wheel, so to speak. And I feel like that's not the way a lot of people approach their New Year's resolutions, or they're like habit changing that they'd like to accomplish. They try to get in there and get it done. But by doing that, gritting your teeth and getting in there and doing it yourself, you don't uncover the layers of what's underneath driving that behavior. So this lighter approach is like gentler, easier, and I think it's easier because somewhere along the way you've gotten to the root of the issue, and so then the door opens and you just walk through it.
Yeah, it's
Great.
beautiful, Morgan.
Yeah.
Really great.
Ease and grace, ease and grace.
Yes.
Well, and giving yourself some grace, right?
Mhm.
Not putting pressure, not not thinking you have to, that it has to be fast and furious, get her done now. It doesn't have to be that way. We
Right.
can do it slow and steady, slow and steady wins, like the tortoise and the hare, who ended up winning, the tortoise or the hare. Yeah.
And one thing that we say in the community, Jennifer's community, is sometimes you just have to be willing to be willing.
Mhm.
And that has meant a lot to me, because even if you're willing, like, I somehow am still trying to figure it out. Even I'm willing to do something, but I'm still trying to figure out how that's going to happen. Willing to be willing gives me one more step back, where I'm just, that for me is the throw up my hands. Like, I'm just willing to be willing, because I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah, because sometimes the intentions and the affirmations feel like total bullshit, and like you're saying the words, but you're not really believing it. So that willingness helps. Like, I'm willing to believe that I can quit drinking. I'm willing to believe that I can give up sugar or whatever. I'm willing to believe I can be unbotherable. Yeah.
For me, one of the biggest, when you said willing to be willing, shifts that has happened in my life was, it was 8 to 10 years ago. I started reading some of Emmet Fox's books. And he talked about honesty, like what you're thinking, like, yeah, like like pure honesty. Like, are you thinking, like, what are you thinking? What are you saying? What are you doing? Is it lined with integrity? And I remember like being in bed and reading that book. Like, I remember what house I was living in. Just everything about it, and thinking, there is no way that my thoughts and my words and my deeds could ever align, right? Because not that I was a liar, but still, like, I would, like, an undercurrent of, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I wouldn't say I was dishonest, but I certainly, like, shaded the truth, right? I certainly wanted to present myself in a certain way that maybe wasn't exactly how I was feeling or what I was doing. So there was this subtle undercurrent of dishonesty. And I remember thinking, there's no way anyone could do that. Like, it's not possible. And then with that whole, I'm willing to be willing to be willing to be willing to see what that would look like. And I feel like I have come a long, long way, because last year my aspiration was honesty, congruent in thought, word, and deed. And I really worked on it all year. Whereas, like 8 years before that, I didn't even believe that it was possible. Yeah. And now if like a fib, right? Little fib, little white lie, little, all those little things start to come out. It's like a little ding, like I get a little ding.
Yeah.
Ding. It really is. It's, like, oh, wow. Like, this wouldn't even have been on my radar before. And I really have shifted. So that is one of the biggest change. And Melissa, I'm glad you said those words, because that really did. And that was over time. And that wasn't me, like, purposely thinking that. That was just, like, declaring it at one point, like, really in prayer, like, willingness to be shown differently, to lead a different kind of life. Wow. Yeah.
Well, it makes me think of, if you listen to Abraham Hicks at all, they talk a lot about the steps of the law of attraction. First is asking, and we're asking for things all the time to the universe, just like unconsciously. And the second step is receiving, or the universe answers, the universe responds. So always, as soon as you ask, the answer or the manifestation of the answer is there and available to you. And the third step is to receive it. But a lot of us get caught up in resistance. So that's like in the changing of habits, if we are grasping at a habit that we'd like to change and really wrestling with it, then we're in resistance. So even though it's already available to us, God has already answered that prayer, the universe has already responded to that request, we're holding it away from us. But what I hear all of us saying is that we're not focusing on it. We're declaring our willingness. We're declaring we'd like to, and then we're going about our life and we're laughing and we're partying and we're having fun. We're living, and that way of being aligns us to the vibration so that we can then receive the answered prayer that is freely given to us if we just don't block it by our resistance. I don't know if I broke that down in a way that's
Awesome.
clear and easy to understand, but
Absolutely, you did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So many times
'Cause
I
I-
try to think about like, why am I resisting this? It's all for my
Mhm.
best.
yeah.
And then
I
find
think because
myself
it's still
resisting.
serving you.
Mhm.
You don't give up what's still serving us.
Mhm.
And that, I think, is really helpful to see, because then you can that helps get to the root cause. And that helps just letting yourself have a little grace of okay, here we go. This is serving me somehow, and I'm willing to figure this out.
And to do it differently. I think that's my
Yeah.
biggest thing is that's the change is just
Yeah.
doing things differently. Yeah. Just really, and consciously focusing on that. Okay. I'm not going to do that old tired pattern that no longer works for me. I'm going to do it differently and go down this new path. Yeah.
Or at
And
least
let
being willing to do it
Willing.
differently. Yeah.
Mhm.
And not
Mm.
adding shame if you don't, right? Not
Yeah.
beating
Yeah.
yourself up if you don't.
Yeah. Like I started doing some Qigong for the new year. I thought, oh, I'm going to do like 11-minute morning Qigong before I do my Course in Miracles lessons and before I do my pranayama, my asana. And I've done it for a few days, but I haven't done it perfectly. And penny perfect. Ugh. But I've given myself some grace. So I know that's change. I'm not
Yeah.
beating myself up. Like this morning, I didn't get it done, and it's okay. I got other things done that help me to stay connected to my source. And so it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I can be an all or nothing thinker, and that's changed. It's changing. I still can go to all or nothing thinking. All of these things that I'm talking about, I still slip back into.
Yeah.
That's the human condition in the world we live in. So
I have an interesting, I like the how-tos, not just these concepts, right? So I love to walk in the morning, and I do a lot of meditation, my walk, and I walk my dog, and it just makes my day, start right. Anyways, I do have a get out of jail thing, I guess. If I haven't done it by 10 in the morning, I let it go. Because I used to be the person to be like, oh, I gotta work out at 5 in the morning. And then if I didn't get to work out at 5 in the morning all day long, I'd be like, okay, I'll do it after this class in college. Then or I'm gonna do this before dinner. And then it would drive me bananas all day long. And it was such a distraction, and it became something I disliked after a while, right? So now I give myself if I haven't done it by 10, I'll do it tomorrow. And I let it go. And I can't even tell you how helpful in
I love
letting that go. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's unfortunately by 7, but if I haven't got it done by 7, man, forget it.
Good. You'll do it tomorrow or the next day. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Or even later in the day if I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I typically find that if I don't get it done by 7, it's not going to happen. Yeah.
And that's okay.
It is. It's
Yeah.
totally okay. Yeah, that critical voice inside me can really wipe me out. And that's something that I'm changing, is to Amanda said earlier, that ease and grace, just giving myself some self-love and self-compassion and not beat myself up. Oh my gosh, I can take that flogger out and yeah, so that's changing. So I
Yeah.
think I can change. Yeah. Yeah, I am changing for the better.
Mhm.
I think change is inevitable.
Mhm.
I do think change is inevitable. Like
For
how,
everyone?
pardon?
For everyone?
Yeah, for everyone. I think it's inevitable. I mean, that's who we are. We were like, you were talking about your kids, watching them grow. Like change is a part of life.
Mhm.
And there is like struggle in resisting that. And like, and also like embracing it and having it be a part of life. And what we're doing is not judging what people want to do with their lives, if they want to struggle against it or if they want to,
Yeah.
seemingly stay the same on the outside. That's
Mhm.
everybody's right to choose. But I think change is inevitable. It's
Yeah.
part of who we are.
Yep. And those who do like cling to the past or to the best time in their life or whatever, like those people are generally not thriving and living their best lives right now if they're resisting that change.
Mhm.
Mhm. Again, I think it's serving them somehow,
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just mulling over that statement that change for everyone is inevitable for everyone. And I believe that too, but but like here where I go right here, you guys, I go to, is it good change or bad change?
Mm,
That's what
that's
I
a
just went to, you know?
It's neutral. It's change is neutral.
Well, but I'm saying if it's inevitable for everybody,
Mhm.
but people don't grasp it and take it on.
Mhm.
And so if I'm fighting against the change, but the change is happening anyway, is it good or bad, or is it still neutral?
Well, going back to Melissa, it would have to all be good, right? Because for some reason it's serving
Mm.
something in them,
Mhm.
right? It's serving something,
Mhm.
it's serving a purpose.
And then who am I to judge it? I guess
Right.
that's what I just
Mhm.
came to. Who am I to
Yeah.
judge it? If that's the way they want to live and let live, right? And it's
Yeah.
not up to me to decide how somebody else should live.
And think about why you've changed or made decisions, or I'd like to change this or that about my life. For me, it's usually been a pain point.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to feel that way anymore.
Mhm.
So I'm willing to change. But I'm sure people could have looked at me and said, why is she still doing that?
Mhm.
And so people will till they won't.
Yeah.
And usually it's a pain point that makes them
Mhm.
change.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do change, but then at some point we all can choose not to. Right? So, and when you choose not to, it's because something's working for you
Mhm.
or it's not bad enough.
Mhm.
Or also maybe some people don't know how to.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I can see that.
Yeah.
Totally can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I was gonna say deep topic.
That's so funny.
That is funny. Yeah. So I have an example of changing a vibration that wasn't about pain. I
Mm.
wanted a different relationship with money. And like I was listening to Abraham Hicks a lot at that time. And I
Mhm.
wanted just to like experiment with abundance. And I really started like when looking at the sky. I live in New Mexico and the sky here is so big. Like the horizon is amazing. And like looking at the blue in the sky, like and just changed my my awareness, my vibration with abundance. It's amazing.
That's
That's
beautiful.
that's something that I did without actually having to go to pain to learn.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the pain is optional. Change is inevitable. Pain is optional.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, Morgan.
I have this really great good vibes calendar.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Yeah,
Yeah.
good vibes. For living good, your best life by Vex King from Hay House. And today, look at what somebody read it. I can't read it and look at it. This is today's. I loved it.
As vibrational beings, we
Co-create.
co-create, thank you, our reality based on where we place our energy.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mhm. If your focus is always on what's wrong, that's all you'll ever perceive. Looking into darkness without any light will not expose the goodness that exists in front of you.
So what you were doing, Melissa, is you were exposing that goodness that you
Yes.
saw in front of you. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
I love how you put
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies,
cool.
I mean, that sounds like a perfect thing to end on. We're coming to the end of our time. Any final thoughts before Morgan takes us, makes our announcements?
Well, I miss Drusilla here.
I
She's
do
not
miss
here.
you.
Yeah, she's not here today because she's helping her brother.
Mhm.
And so we just send her our best and we miss her.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that, Melissa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you a lot. And I think just to wrap up change, it can be whatever we want it to be. You
Mhm.
know, it can be challenging or it can be easy. It can be filled with grace. It can be wonderful. It can be hard. Yeah, it's just, I think it's all in our attitude.
Mhm.
And so, like Morgan, you said pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Well, change is inevitable, but suffering over it is optional, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a big topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think we conclude that yes, people can really change.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean, look at Scrooge. Look at Ebenezer Scrooge.
Right.
Yeah.
If Scrooge can do it, I can.
Yep.
I mean, but we love those heroes' journeys.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And we're on one ourselves.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. So I'll just share our email address this time. Last time I couldn't remember what it was. So in case you would like to send us feedback on our discussion or offer some topic suggestions for us or participate in the conversation in any way, our email address is info at 5laughinglemons.com. And 5 is spelled out, FIVE. And our website is also 5laughinglemons.com. If you want to find us there, find us on social media, and we will see you next week. Thank you for being here with us.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.